How much is a big Friday or Saturday night out cost in the UK? 100, 150 for two people? Probably more. What if I told you could get a weekend in Europe with change left over? So it's Friday or Saturday night, you and a partner, best mate, or in my case one of the kids, are ready to blow off some steam. Classic British night out incoming. Let's start with a couple of drinks in the bar. Let's say 2 rounds of drinks. That's already £24 if you're lucky. That's based on 2 drinks at the price of a pint. £6 if you're lucky. That's £24 before you've even caught up on the week at work. Then it's off to dinner. Nothing too fancy. Decent pub meal or Italian, £50-60 with a couple of drinks if you're lucky. But let's say you've added a cheeky dessert, 1 more drink each, now you're at £80 to £90. And that's not pushing the boat out. So you're already at £115 and it's barely 8:30, 9 o'clock. So you fancy a gig, a comedy show, or just entry to a club. £15 to £30 a person, let's call it £40 for 2. So bang, that's 155. And if you're not driving, so let's factor in a couple of Ubers, whatever, or parking, let's say £30. It's £185 without even trying for 2 people. And trust me and Buck go to a cheap comedy night in Birmingham, bite to eat before we go, the comedy night's free, chip a couple of quid in because it's pay if you laugh. I very rarely have change out of £50-60, and that is going cheap to a free comedy night. But there's more to it than that, isn't there? You've had a few drinks, you've loosened up, you might chuck a couple of quid into the fruity if that's your bag, you might have a few more drinks. Now bear in mind, straight away if you've gone to a comedy night, gig or club, you are going to have a few more drinks. What about that cheeky kebab at 1 AM? We all know we do it and we don't care about the price, we just want kebab. Right? I reckon the total's going to be more like about 200, 210, and that's if you're lucky. That's a lot of money. What can we do instead? Or you could go to Budapest for the same price. Now here's the part that shouldn't be possible, but it is. I wasn't even trying that hard. It literally took me 5 minutes. So I found a real trip, 2 nights, September the 26th to the 28th. So September's reasonable weather, so no dodgy January snowstorms to dodge. Ryanair, fair enough, it's not the best, but you can take a bag, not very big bag, but you're only going for 2 nights. £44 return. Obviously, if you're flying from Manchester, you might have to pick a different city or pay a bit more. But let's say this is Stansted. 2/3 of the country live within spitting distance of Stansted. So let's do it. So a hotel. I found a place called the Casanora, £64 for 2 nights. There were cheaper options, but they were a bit hostel-y. Nothing fancy, it's clean, it's relatively central. It's clean, it's relatively central, and just a 10-minute walk from the Jewish quarter and some of Budapest's best bits. The cathedral's 11 minutes, it's not central, but if you can walk, you can get there. That was £64, so the total cost for 2 nights, £148, that's £74 each. That's not bad. That is £40 below my lower estimate, getting on for £60 below my realistic estimate. So okay, you've only got £60 spare. So what do you actually do? On Friday night you land, you drop your bag and you're off out. Head straight for the Jewish quarter. It's buzzing, full of little ruined bars and street food spots. For dinner, grab yourself a plate of chicken paprikash or stacked langos from Caravan Street Food. You'll eat like a king for about £6. After that, grab a drink at Simpler Kurt. It's one of the most famous ruined pubs in the world. Live music, weird decor, cheap drinks, and 0 bouncers shouting at you about dress code. Saturday, wake up, grab a coffee. I know from experience that part of Europe, you're talking €2, and then maybe hit the thermal baths that time of year. I'd look at the outdoor ones. They're a proper Budapest experience and they're around £15. Maybe cross the bridge, climb up to Fisherman's Bastion for those panoramic views and soak up some actual culture. And if you've still got the energy, do it all again with a new bar, new food, and maybe even a moonlit soak if you time it right. So yeah, 1 night out in the UK or 2 nights in Budapest with food, flights and fun. Your choice. I know what I'd be picking. Now I know what you're thinking, sure Ian, but by the time we land, grab a taxi, get dinner and have a drink, won't we blow the budget anyway? Yeah, maybe. But full disclosure, you will creep over that standard Friday night budget once you're out living your best life in Budapest. But here's the twist, you're not replacing 1 night out, are you? You're actually getting 2 nights out. So let's be honest, if you're anything like me, you probably do at least 2 nights out a month. So instead of doing it twice, do it twice at the same time and bag yourself a great experience. Same fun, way better stories on Monday morning when you get back to work. And it's not just Budapest. In the last couple of years, I've done Athens twice for under £84, and these were 3-night breaks. Sofia, we did that for 80, that was a 3-night break. Krakow, done that a couple of times as well. £94 and we ate like royalty, that was 3 nights. Oh god, I almost forgot. We did Sweden, which is rated as one of the more expensive countries in the world. £70 for 2 nights. They are out there. Admittedly, some of those were later in the year, but Athens is still warm in December and March, which is when we went. So the next time someone says, let's go out on Friday, maybe you say, sure, fancy doing it in Eastern Europe? Yeah, it really is well worth doing. I've had a great time. You can look at some of my videos, you can see how much fun I've had. If you're not out for a boozy night out while you're out there, you can soak up a load of culture and spend even less. There really is no reason to start off in Wetherspoons, go to Pizza Express and end up in some dodgy club. Believe it or not, I still do that sort of thing. So what do you reckon? Would you swap 2 nights out in your hometown for a full weekend away somewhere like Budapest? Let me know in the comments, that's what they're there for. And if you've ever done a trip like this for under £100, I want to hear about it. Got a destination you want me to run the numbers on? Drop it below, I might feature in a future video, and I'll probably beat your numbers. And hey, if this got you thinking, check out my other videos for real life budget trips that you could actually book and I've actually done. No influencer fancy stuff, just the truth, prices and all. There'll be no fancy videos, it's just me and my kids having fun and learning about the world. So thanks ever so much for watching. We'll see you on Thursdays and Saturdays.